Hey everybody, welcome to Beaming Notes, and today we're going to look at the summary of the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. Setting of the poem. The poem If does not have a conspicuous physical setting. However, after reading the poem, one can visualize a setting in which a father is speaking to his son and giving him the most valuable life lesson on how to become a complete man. The token of personal philosophy and wisdom which the father imparts to his son has universal validity. Hence, a seemingly domestic setting in which the moral philosophies of the poem are shared assume a much larger universal space. Stanza 1. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. Through the first stanza of If, the poet Rudyard Kipling offers us his opinion on how to operate during times of crisis. The poet urges readers that when the going gets difficult and things stop to work in our favor, we must not lose our composure and deal with the situation at hand in a calm fashion in order to salvage it. It is human nature to save oneself the blame for failures and put it on others. The poet asks us to combat this basic human frailty and harbor within ourselves the courage to take responsibilities for our actions that have produced the undesired results, just like Jameson did during the raid. During times of crisis, it is expected that people are going to lose their rationality and indulge in blame games. The poet urges us to not give in to the same. The poet asks us to garner enough confidence to believe in oneself and our potential, even if the others around us have given up on us. Hence, we see that self-faith is a virtue which Kipling puts forward with high regard. However, the poet warns us against getting overconfident. He says we must have the confidence, but not blind faith in ourselves, as the latter will stop us from giving ears to the valuable suggestions and recommendations of others. In other words, we must make enough room in our heads for opposing ideas from others if they seem legit. Summary stanza 2. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. Next, the poem imparts a very valuable lesson. He says that success and failure are a part and parcel of life, and there is nothing permanent about them. The poet calls them impostors since both success and failure are powerful and have a disguise of permanence which makes a person feel either too optimistic or broken down. The poet recommends his readers to treat both success and failure in the same way and not let them get to us, since both of them are as fickle as the wheel of fortune. Next, Kipling tells us that the road to attaining one's goals is never an easy one and is filled with hurdles to be encountered with, such as people who might try to break our morale by misconstruing our righteousness and virtue in a way that can be used against us. The poet asks us to not let the mind games of such people hinder us. On our path to success, we might have to encounter failures which might wipe away everything that we have achieved. The poet's word of advice for such a misfortune is to never give up. He asks us to develop within ourselves such a potent power of creation that upon facing even the most brutal failures, we can start from scratch again. Summary stanza 3. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. In the third stanza, Kipling furnishes his readers with a very important life advice of never giving up. Life is unpredictable and filled with ups and downs. Trying to make one's mark in the world is nothing short of a gamble. The poet asks us not to shy away from the challenges just because we are scared that we might lose what we already have. He says that the ideal man is one who can put all of his life's achievements at risk while aiming towards bigger goals. It takes immense strength of mind to shake off a loss in order to keep going, but a complete man is one who does not cry over spilt milk and starts afresh from scratch even after being completely snubbed and broken. Towards the end of the stanza, Kipling adds that willpower is the only key to persistence in spite of loss. If a man is determined, he can make his heart, nerve and sinew serve him even in the most downtrodden and bleakest of times when everything seems to be going against his favor. Summary, stanza 4. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, your is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you will be a man, my son. The final stanza, the poet discusses the ideal modus operandi in life after success has been attained. Since these are the poet's final instructions to his readers, the lines are resplendent with the poignancy and worded in a way which infuses our minds with a rush of inspiration. Kipling says that a great man is someone who fits into all sections of the society seamlessly. He urges his readers to move around with the common masses without letting go of their individuality. Humans tend to go with the flow because of the herd mentality. However, the perfect man is the one who will not follow any rat race or trends blindly and will stand out in spite of being a part of the crowd. Next, the poet warns us about the arrogance that often comes with great success. He asks us to be wary of the heart-numbing effects of success and motivates us to not let go of our compassion or become too proud upon being accepted into the finest rung of the social ladder. What Kipling wants to tell us here is that success is only palatable and meaningful if it is in a nexus with modesty. The poet further adds that true success can only be attained if one reaches such a point in life that neither friends nor foes can cause hurt in a way that reduces one's productivity. A perfect human being is someone who is dependable. However, one must be careful to not make people so dependent upon oneself that they lose their potential to work on their own. The poet ends the poem with the parting advice that one must become the master of one's own time by squeezing maximum productivity out of the smallest unit of time. He urges his readers to fill an unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. What Kipling is trying to say here is that time does not know how to forgive the ones who waste it. Even the smallest unit of time has no mercy for the ones who do not know how to utilize it. Hence, to get ahead in life, a man must make most of each of the 60 seconds in a minute by filling it with a burst of activity, since every moment counts. Towards the very end of the poem, Kipling assumes a fatherly stance and sincerely says, "If one keeps in mind all the axioms of meaningful life imparted by him, the world will be his playground and he will be able to conquer all." However, according to the poet, the real reward of abiding by his guidelines will lie in the perfect man, which this choice of lifestyle will turn an individual into. Central idea: life only has meaning when it has been lived meaningfully, and our identity as human beings can only be ratified in the real sense of the term if we live virtuously by following a set of high moral codes and conduct. Rudyard Kipling's "if" is a blueprint for all those qualities and virtues which we must inculcate within us to be able to call ourselves complete human beings, and also in order to attain true success in life. In course of the 32 lines of the poem, Kipling advocates the virtues of composure, patience, integrity, modesty, control, perseverance, tolerance, determination, confidence, for a few to cite. This poem is like a rulebook to perfect the art of living and being human. Conclusion: "If" by Rudyard Kipling is one of the most fervent pieces on what it means to lead a life that has been made meaningful through right virtues and values. This poem consists of just 32 lines, but within its purview, it encompasses some of the most integral life lessons that can be put to use during the good as well as the bad times which we go through in life. Some of the virtues and the qualities forwarded in the poem might seem lofty and even impossible to attain, but there is no denying the fact that they are the crux of what humanity can offer best. In short, this poem paints a wonderful and inspiring picture of how an ideal man leads an ideal life. The poem is recommended from reader to reader and passed from generation to generation because of its capacity to move the hearts of the readers and inspire.